Just a quick note, everyone, we're going to be very full today, so if there are any empty seats, okay, nope. Is it ready now? Is it on now? Okay, no, not yet. Very little. Is it on now? All right. Before we get started, I just wanted to say that we're going to be a very full house today. You still can't hear. Okay. We're going to be a very full house today, and we'd like to be able to fit everyone in the sanctuary if we can. We have overflow seating, but we sure all like to be together. So if there's an empty seat next to you, can you squeeze in so that seat is on an aisle, and then we will know that there's room for more people, okay? All right. Thank you. Okay.
When I was a little bitty boy, just up off the floor, we used to go down to Grandma's house every month and or so. We'd have chicken pie, country ham, homemade butter on the bread. But the best darn thing about Grandma's house was a great big feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feather for 11 years, took a whole board apart for a tick. It hold 8 kids and 4 hot dogs and a piggy we stole from the shed. We didn't much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. After supper we'd sit around the fire, the old folks spit and chew. Pa would talk about the farm and the war, and Granny'd sing a ballad or two. Well, I'd sit and listen and watch the fire till the cobwebs filled my head. Next thing I'd know, I'd wake up in the morning in the middle of the old feather bed. It was 9 feet high and 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 11 geese, took a whole board apart for the tick. It hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy we stole from the shed. We didn't get much sleep, but we had a lot of fun on Grandma's feather bed. Well, I love my ma, I love my pa, I love Grandpa too. I've been fishing with Uncle, wrestling with Cousin, I even kissed Aunt Lou. Ooh. But if I ever had to make a choice, I guess it ought to be said, I'd trade them all, plus a gal down the road for Grandma's feather bed. Yes, I'd trade them all, plus a gal down the road. Maybe not a gal down there. It was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick. It was made from the feathers of 4 11 geese, a whole board apart for the tick. It hold 8 kids and 4 hound dogs and a piggy we stole from the shed. We didn't get a lot of fun on Grandma. Didn't get much sleep, we had a lot of fun on Grandma.
Good morning. We are looking for a seat. If you have a seat next to you, could you raise your hand? All right. Great. Because they're looking back. The readers are looking. So, good morning. I'm Reverend Krista Taves, Minister of Congregational Life, and along with Reverend Dr. Doug Watkins, we would like to welcome all of you, whether you are here in this sanctuary or watching from home. Welcome to Eliot Chapel, a liberal religious congregation of spiritual seekers centered in our deepest conviction that there is a love beyond our understanding that grounds us in a profoundly interconnected world where we seek to live with integrity and serve with courage and compassion. If you're visiting us for the first time, you can probably already tell we're having a very special service today. This is the annual bread service. Many members and friends have brought baking that is special to them and will make time to share and hear what is meaningful about their offering. You will see quilts hanging around the sanctuary. Many are made by our members and friends. And we also have 2 special collections. One is for Kirkwood, our local food pantry, collecting small bottles and pods of laundry detergent, and there are containers at all the entrances for those. And the second collection is for our partner church in Transylvania, which we'll be learning more about in this service. Our time this morning is meaningful and spirit-filled, and that you feel warmly welcomed and that you'll come again. Please fill out the guest sheet that you were given on the way in, both sides if you're here with kids, and drop it in the offertory basket. If you're visiting us online, please let us know you're here. Send an email to welcome@eliotchapel.org so we can personally thank you for coming. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, we light a chalice to symbolize that we are entering sacred space and are preparing our hearts and minds and spirits for the blessing of beloved community. Today, we light this chalice for the web of life which sustains us, for the sacred circle of life in which we have our being, for the earth, the sky, above and below, and for Mother Earth and for the mystery. Let us also acknowledge that we are on the lands of the original nations in this area, the Osage, the Miami, the Sioux, the Haudenosaunee, and others. These lands were the traditional territory of these native nations prior to their forced removal. These lands continue to carry the stories of these nations and their struggles for survival and identity. I invite you to rise in body or spirit for our opening hymn, number 68, Come Ye Thankful People Come. As a free congregation, we promise to one another our mutual trust and respect. I started the covenant without asking you to join me. We are a congregation of the covenant. That means the center of our faith is based on the sacred promises that we make to each other and continue to remake to each other. Please join me in our congregational covenant as printed in your order of service. As a free congregation, we promise to one another our mutual trust and support. To create beloved community, we promise to be kinder to each other than we have to be. To listen fully to each other with an open mind and heart. To speak responsibly and respectfully. To find ways to improve our church for all members and friends. I'm going to invite Bill and Becky Colson and Doug to join us for this story. And I believe you have microphones right here. I think Ken's going to help you with those.
Testing. No, it's not on.
We're going to test to make sure they're on first. Okay.
Hurrah for Transylvania.
Did you know that the oldest Unitarian communities are in Transylvania, Romania? They are 440 years old, these communities. But after World War II, Romania became a communist country. It was a hard time, and it was dangerous to have any contact with the West. And so we North American Unitarian Universalists mostly lost touch with our Unitarian siblings in Transylvania. But in 1991, the Soviet Union crumbled, and Romania became a free country. We reached out to each other, eager to rebuild our relationships. We learned that our Transylvanian congregations were struggling economically and also as a religious and cultural community in an increasingly hostile nationalistic Romania, because they are Hungarian and Unitarian, so they kind of got it from all sides. The Partner Church Council was formed to connect North American Unitarian Universalist congregations with Transylvanian Unitarian churches. And this is how Eliot Chapel was part of St. Martin, which has been a Unitarian church since 1600. We have a strong relationship with several Eliot delegations traveling to Transylvania and spending time with the good people of St. Martin and, I'm sure I pronounced that wrong, the name about half the parishioners live.
So we are here this morning to have some guests with us for aid in this bill who have traveled our partner church many times. Well,
so Doug and I have some questions for you because we're very, very curious about what you experienced when you went there and visited our partner church. So who's a partner church minister?
Our partner church minister is Shandor Kish.
Can you hear them? Is the microphone on? No.
maybe just eat the mic a little bit.
Okay.
There we go.
Yes.
Can you tell us again, who's the minister of our partner church?
Our partner church minister is Shandor Kish.
And what did you do?
We did many things, that from going inside a salt mine to the one that really brings my memories back is the first time we went, we had a large group from Eliot, and they took us on a wagon ride through the country. We visited the site of a Roman town. We visited a Catholic church that was one of the fortified churches with walls around it so the community could seek shelter in times of trouble. And at the end of that, we ended up on a high prairie where there was communal use of this land for sheep and cattle and such, and we had a big party. They made bonfires and brought cars out and opened the doors and were playing music, and we danced, and with the townspeople just ad hoc. And several other times we had dancing. They did folk dancing demonstration for us. And then we got to social dance with them one evening after a big dinner.
Thank you. Becky, how did you connect with the people?
So can you hear me? Yeah. We first went to Transylvania because Jan Chamberlain urged choir members to go. Thank you, Jan. Staying in the homes of members of our partner church was a highlight of the trip and the part I was most interested in. However, as the time for this visit drew nearer, I began to be terrified. How would we communicate with no common language? My terror proved unfounded. Our host, Yoji, spoke great English, though our hostess, Tereska, spoke none. However, Tereska's work was making dried flower arrangements for sale, and she gave us a demonstration. Then, at dinner, one of the village women who was serving showed interest in a scrubby I was crocheting. Later, we sat near each other and each crocheted half of one. I still have it. This woman, Lenka, has become a treasured friend. She seems to be able to learn quickly how to do anything I do, even without a common language. And on our subsequent visits, she seems just as glad to see me as I am to see her. On our second visit, Clara Weiss stayed in a home that had a weaving loom in the living room. Her hostess, Maria, showed us how she wove, then introduced me to a kind of lace I had never seen before. The other ladies who have made crafts to sell at Eliot's Holiday Bazaar also took me into their hearts. I can't wait to go back again.
So in just a few minutes, we will receive a collection that will go to our partner church. Why do we do this?
We do this to help the elderly people at St. Martin that the switchover from communism to a free land left their security net for elderly people in shattered state. And what they've instituted since then is a bit like our Social Security, but it's very biased for how much wages the person has earned. Well, this is a farming community, and they don't earn wages. So they get a lot of the elderly people in town get almost the bare minimum amount, and it's hard to live on that small amount. So a way that our partner church is helping them, and we've aided it by contributing each year the money from the bread collection plate, and that will be 100% of the collection, not just half of it, like we do other Sundays. And it provides one loaf of bread, a fairly large loaf, to each elderly parishioner each week. So they get one loaf of bread a week for the entire year, and that helps supplement their diet and meals.
Thanks to both of you for telling us a little bit about your experience with our partner church. It's so important for us to remember why we are part of this partner church program and what that partnership really means. And so we appreciate you sharing with all of us. And thank you, and we look forward in a few minutes to receiving our offering. Appreciate your story. This is a multi-gen service, so we will all continue together now for a little time of reflection and meditation. On this day, as we honor community and our connection to bread, may we turn our hearts and minds to our sacred connection with bread. How bread takes many hands, many hours and miles to come to fruition. Bread is a journey, from the seed of the grain to the workers who steward the crops, to the pilgrimage to the mill, and then to the shelf, and for all of the other ingredients that make their own journey. Bless the baker and the hands and the kitchen aides that knead the dough, the people who care for our planet so that we continue to grow, and the fire that creates magic, and the sacred scent of baking bread. We honor the wisdom that is part of bread, reminding us of our connection to the planet, to each other, to our physical selves, as well as our spirit. Many hands, minds, hearts, miles, and resources make up these loaves we will share. So it is with all of our lives, our communities, our world. We need each other, and we are needed, and contribute that which nourishes, delights, and sustains us. And yet, the journey is not just about success and moving forward. It is also always about loss as well, and some sort of brokenness and imperfection. We honor that truth as well in our lives and in our community, just as it is in the bread that we break today. For just a couple of deep breaths, I invite us to be in just a moment together, of quiet, that you may offer your own thoughts or prayers to what is most in your mind and heart this morning. And as we end our prayer, we turn to words that are also a prayer that have often been a part of this service, a little portion of the prayer written for his family from Robert Louis Stevenson. Lord, behold our family here assembled. We thank thee for this place in which we dwell, for the love that unites us, for the peace accorded us this day, for the hope with which we expect the morrow, for the health, the work, the food, and the bright skies that make our lives delightful, and for our friends in all parts of the earth. Let peace abound in our company. So may it be in the name of love. Amen, and blessed be. Let's remain seated and join together in hymn number 349, We Gather Together. And so now we come to the offertory and the receiving of the offering. As we have heard, our Thanksgiving collection is our opportunity to contribute to Eliot's partner church, St. Martin in Romania's Transylvania region. So all of the money collected today at this bread service will be used to provide a weekly loaf of bread to the impoverished and elderly parishioners of the congregation. You've heard more of the story of our connection, and I hope it inspires us to feel a deeper way of being with these people now as we offer together. If you are giving online, if you have the option of giving to the partner church, you can do that. However, for this week, also if you click on the share the plate, the shared offering, it will also go to the partner church. Our offering will now be given and received in a spirit of connection and abundance.
In this world there's a whole lot of trouble. In this world there's a whole lot of pain. In this world there's a whole lot of trouble, but a whole lot of ground to gain. Why take when you could be giving? Why watch as the world goes by? It's a hard enough life to be living. Why walk when when you can fly. In this world there's a whole lot of sorrow. In this world there's a whole lot of shame. In this world there's a whole lot of sorrow, but a whole lot of ground to gain. When you spend your whole life wishing, wanting and wondering why, it's a long enough life to be living. Why walk when you can fly? There's a whole lot of golden. In this world there's a whole lot of plain. In this world you've a soul for your compass and a heart for a pair of wings. There's a star on the far horizon, shining bright in the azure sky. For the rest of the time that you're given, why walk when you can fly?
Thank you so much. Let's invite our greeters up with our offering and turn our attention to our dedication of the gifts that's printed in the order of service. As together we say, to the work of the church, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action, we dedicate our lives and these our offerings. Thank you. Thanks to all of you for your generosity.
When I first began spending time in this country in 2002, I experienced American Thanksgiving for the first time. Did you know that this is the only country where Thanksgiving is an expression of national identity? It is, it's the only one. All the others are harvest festivals. This is a celebration of identity. I did know the Pilgrim story, even though I grew up in Canada, because, you know, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. Right? But now I love people who hold on to the Pilgrim story as sacred. The Pilgrim story is their identity story. It tells many settler Americans who they are and that they belong here. Have you heard that term before, settler Americans? It's a new term that's been developed as we're getting more awareness of the true diversity of this nation and want to use language that is respectful and truthful. So settler American, it means the people descended from those who chose to come to this land from other lands, or people today who chose to come from somewhere else and are living here now. So if you came from somewhere else, or your descendants came from somewhere else and they chose to be here, that means you're a settler American. Then there are the people whose ancestors didn't choose to come here. Their ancestors were brought from the continent of Africa against their will and forced to work. That's another kind of American. And then there are the indigenous people, the original nations, sometimes called Native Americans, although some indigenous people don't want to be called American, just indigenous. So their ancestors have been on this land thousands and thousands of years, longer than anyone can imagine. So I have a question for you all today. How many of you are settlers? A whole lot of people. How many of you are Americans descendant from those brought here and enslaved? And how many of you are part of or descended from the original nations? And how many of you raised your hand for more than one? We are many things, not just one thing. So you can see that we are mostly descended from settlers here this morning, but we have some people whose ancestry is indigenous as well. People from the original nations have told us a lot about our Thanksgiving celebration. They've told us that the Thanksgiving story isn't real. It's a fabrication. It's made up. So this is our identity story, and they're telling us it's made up. It's not true. That the meal, it wasn't a celebration of, unity and, feeling connected and being neighbors and being community. The Pilgrims were desperate. They were starving. And the Wampanoag original nation didn't trust these new people who didn't even know how to get through a winter. So there was a lot of distrust between these people, and the meal was a way of testing each other out. And soon it became clear after that meal that the Pilgrims actually wanted the land all to themselves. So over the years, original nations were forced to leave most of their lands. And while indigenous people live in every state in this country, most live far away from where their original lands were. They were moved to make room for us. So for the original nations, Thanksgiving is a day of mourning, where we remember the sad things that happened and are still happening to the original nations. And it's also a day to recognize how strong the original nations people are, and that they keep getting stronger, and they are demanding change so that the sad things stop happening. So for settler Americans, Thanksgiving has been a party. And for Native Americans, it is remembering sad things and holding up that they have saved their culture, their language, and history through all those hard and sad times. As Unitarian Universalists, a big part of our religion is about deep respect and treating people fairly. We talk a lot about solidarity, which means to help other people without expecting anything back. When we took that offering for our partner church in Transylvania today, we were in solidarity with them. So because deep respect and treating people fairly is so important to us, we keep asking ourselves, what does it mean to be in solidarity with the original nations that we live on? And here in Missouri, that's a difficult question to answer because they all got pushed out. There is no community, there's no indigenous community left in this state. I want to tell you a story. Back when General Assembly, which is our national meeting every year in June, General Assembly was here. I think it was 2007. It was a big deal to have General Assembly here. And one of the things we had started doing at General Assemblies was at the beginning, the opening ceremonies, we would call someone from an indigenous community in the state to come and recognize, and we would recognize their lands and recognize their people. But there wasn't anybody to call in Missouri. We had to call to Oklahoma because that's where the indigenous people here were forced to go back in the 1800s. And we got in touch with someone and said, would you come? Would you come to General Assembly and help us recognize these lands and express respect for your people? And they said, what? You want me to travel all the way to St. Louis so that you can feel good about yourselves for a few minutes? This is your water to carry. This is your water to carry. So we are always thinking, what does it mean to be supportive? What does it mean to be in solidarity with indigenous people? It doesn't ask anything from them. That is freely given. Our bread service was first created by Minister Emeritus Rev. John Robinson, who served as congregation for over 20 years, and his picture is right over there in that gallery. If you haven't ever looked at his picture, you should really go see his picture, because his legacy still lives on in so much that we do here. And he wrote this service. He wrote the Thanksgiving service we're doing today, We're using some of his things in the service today, like the prayer, for instance. All the hymns we sing, though they were in the service he prepared for Bread Sunday. And he wrote this service as a way to respect the traditions that we come from. All the traditions. And I think he was ahead of his time in the way he did this, because it meant that white people couldn't just see themselves as white anymore. We weren't just white. We were coming from all these different backgrounds and all these different experiences. And it is a way of decentering whiteness so that we can be embracing of the truths of this country. We are firm believers in the truth, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. And this bread service helped to be part of that. And that's why we ask you to bring baking from your tradition and share what it means. Now, I know you've brought bread from all kinds of traditions. Some of them are going to be your cultural tradition. Some of them are going to be a national tradition. Some of them are just the favorite thing your family likes from the bakery. But today, in solidarity with the indigenous people of this land, let us dedicate the bread we have brought to the land we live on and to the people who know this land deep in their bones, with a knowing so deep that the people and the land are the same. May all that we do strengthen all our relations, and may we love the land we live on the same way. Amen. So now at last, it is time for our bread ceremony, which some of us call bread communion. We will partake in a ritual that has been done many, many, many times in this sanctuary, many, many times in Unitarian Universalist congregations all over North America. If you're in Adams Hall in the garden room, Reverend Doug will be leading you in this sharing. And if you're in the sanctuary, we will line up, we'll go around like this. This will be our circle. So go up and around and down, and there'll be a microphone placed here by the time the first person gets here. And then you'll share your story of the bread, and then take it through those doors right into Adams Hall, where there's a Thanksgiving table. Place the bread there, and then come back to your seat. And I want to emphasize that in Unitarian Universalism, all of our rituals are open. You don't have to be a member of this congregation. This could be your first time here, and you are still welcome. We have an open table in this congregation. When you do share, please share briefly. You can see we have a lot of people here, so 1 to 2 sentences at the most about what you've brought, and families are welcome to come together. So let's begin.
Good morning. My name is Claudia Potts, and I bring a German tradition from my family. It is not bread. They are hard cookies called Springla. At least that's the way I say the German word. I don't know if it's right. And I share these because it's a significant tradition in my heritage from growing up. My grandmother made these with the wooden forms that her family brought from Germany. And so, enjoy.
My name is Rebecca Shooter. I'm bringing a gluten-free bread. They're wrapped in a Ziploc bag for those of you who need to eat gluten-free. And I brought them in on a platter that's a Polish pottery platter for my husband Chuck, who's Polish in his heritage.
My name is Lou Salvin. In looking through recipes this weekend, I found a recipe for lemon tea bread, which I bring today. This had a note from my husband on the top that said, repeat over and over. And in fact, he did make it friends, new neighbors, and for our family, and I bring it today for the Eliot family.
My name is Michael Hennon. Cranberry bread again this year. No bananas in it this time, but walnuts and whole cranberries this year. Made yesterday morning, thinking of those in all lands who are struggling and suffering and having compassion for them.
I'm Madeline Harris, and my husband Peter and I have Scandinavian roots, Norwegian and Swedish, and I am bringing chocolate ginger cookies. Ginger is very big in Scandinavia.
Make sure you speak closely.
Hi, my name is Pamela Betts, and this is just a tradition that we have been doing for Eliot for over a decade. It came from a time in my life when I was eating nutrient-dense food, and so this is an oil-free zucchini bread.
Hello, I am Kathy McVoy, and I bring date nut bread, a recipe from my paternal grandmother from French Canada. Encore, encore. We love it. We're glad to share it with you.
I'm Mary Myhouse, and I'm bringing a traditional Irish soda bread from my heritage when the O'Leary and the Brennan clan settled here.
Hi, we're the Dembskis.
And I have brought chocolate chip pumpkin bread, and why this bread is important to me is because me and my family made it together at home.
Hi, I'm Brooke Taylor Duckworth. These are my 3 daughters, Caroline, Coco, and Genevieve. And we brought French bread that Caroline made herself with our bread maker. But we woke up this morning to the house smelling delicious, and we're excited that at 10 years old, she's able to do this by herself now.
My name is Marcia. This is the recipe from my aunt, my dad's youngest sister. Her name is Mary Lou, and I got to see her yesterday, and I did kiss Aunt Lou. This is cornbread. It's a corn souffle with green chilies. It's not spicy and no meat. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm Katie Friedman Miller, and for better or for worse, our tradition is to do what's easiest, and so the tradition this year is pumpkin bread.
I'm Heather McCorkle, and myself and my daughter Nico and my son Ivan have brought Serbian pagachka.
My name is Alana, and this year my family chose to bring soft pretzels because they were my great-grandfather's favorite.
I'm Jim Lyon. I brought quick bread. The tradition only goes back 30 years. My wife and I needed something that was sweet when we were living summers off the grid, and this didn't require any refrigeration for the ingredients, so this is what we wound up with.
I always get emotional. My name is Ann Petlin. My first bread Sunday was 25 years ago in 1997. Many of you know that Eliot Chapel was officially founded in the living room of Joe and Nikki Tanaka. And from their last name, they were Japanese. And you know, Japan does not have a wheat tradition, it has a rice tradition. Well, by 1997, only Nikki was left, and Bread Sunday was the only service she would insist her family bring her to every year. And Nikki would bring rice crackers. They're in the shape of cherry blossoms because they're beautiful, and they remind us that life is beautiful, fragile, and short. And so in honor of our founders, Joe and Nikki, this is my annual tradition, little pack of rice crackers. And to be honest, these have gotten to be devilishly hard to find. But I also have lemon bread, and that recipe is from Canada, where some of my people are from.
Hi, I'm Sharon McKenzie and Bruce. And Reverend Doug has been talking a lot about change, and what we bake to reflects change, slight changes in traditional and old recipes. I made a vegan Irish soda bread to honor both of our Irish ancestry. And Bruce?
It's fresh. It was made this morning. I made the scones, apricot scones. This service is about blessing. That word was not a common word in my upbringing, but I've become more comfortable with it through Eliot Chapel. And making bread is a blessing. And another blessing is the memory of when I was a kid and we had apricot trees all around our house. My sisters and I would split the apricots, getting beautiful, fat California, Santa Clara Valley apricots, and our dad would put these trays of dried apricots on the roof of our house, and they would dry there, glistening in gold. And every time I make these scones with the apricots, I smell that memory of my childhood. So thank you for the occasion to share this with you.
Hi, I'm Holly Swift. This is my son Sid. We had every intention of making bread yesterday. I bought the ingredients, was very excited, and we ran out of time because I needed to go to work at a fundraiser. So these are chocolate chip cookies left over from the Jewish Community Center's fundraiser last night. They're delicious. So here they are, from the Jewish community to us. So.
Hi, I'm Xander, and my mom made mystery bread.
Hi, I'm Brad Johnson, and this is my son Rowan, and this is our first bread Sunday. We just brought a simple white bread that we enjoy around the house, but we're grateful to start this new tradition with our family. So thank you guys.
I'm Ginger Johnson, and I celebrate all the different immigrant groups that I am from, maybe 12 or 13 at least, but probably my favorite because I have a nickname, Ginger, is gingerbread.
I'm Becky Colson. I brought one of my family's favorite breads, seduction bread from Whole Foods.
Hi, I'm Todd Stein. I brought two, actually. I brought they're very similar, Mendola bread and biscotti. And they're very similar, and hopefully I didn't mix it too much, which means torture it with the tool I was using.
My name is Wanda, and this is my name is Wanda, and this is my sister Sammy, and we brought pumpkin pecan bread because our grandma makes it for us around this time of year.
Hello, I'm Doug Eliot. I'm bringing some, they spared no expense, as you can see here, imported Walker shortbreads in honor of my grandmother, whose mother was our last immigrant to this country from Scotland. So this we would have at this time of year.
Il est né le divin enfant. Bonjour, je m'appelle Lynn Murphy. J'ai de pain français parce qu'une partie de la famille vient d'Alsace-Lorraine. He is born a little Christ child. That's a traditional French Christmas carol. I have French bread, not homemade, but from the bakery, because part of my family is from Alsace-Lorraine. Merci, thank you.
Hola, I hail from a Spanish town, El Paso, Texas, born and raised, but my heritage is Hernando Cortez and Montezuma. So I'm very proud of my race, and these cookies have been passed down 4 generations. And I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and I'm the one that's stuck making these every year for everybody to grab and take. So it's a very special cookie that's made. They're bizcochos. This particular recipe won at the Pomona, California State Fair, so I'm very proud of this recipe. So I hope you'll enjoy this Spanish cinnamon cookie. Where do I go?
Hello, I'm Faith Williams, and Ancestry.com says I'm 51% Scots. So in order to live up to the alleged thriftiness of the Scots, we never let bananas go to waste. And when they're overripe, we make banana bread.
Hi, I'm Carol Jo Mack, and it's been my tradition in my family that we make pumpkin bread that from my grandmother's recipe. And yesterday, her great-grandson and her great-great-granddaughter made the pumpkin bread I brought today.
Hi, my name is Peyton Woldridge. This is Abby. Hi. This service marks our 10th year at Eliot, and our first service was a bread service, so we brought monkey bread.
Hi, I'm Kaylin, and this is Chris, Clark, Alba, and George is up in the balcony. Today we brought some bread.
This is the bread her mom used to make. She passed away a couple weeks ago. And
This bread is from the Rochleone Bakery in St. Charles. It was started by my grandma's uncle in the early 1900s. It has since moved from St. Louis out into St. Charles. So when I was getting canola yesterday, I got this bread.
Hi, we're the Eldorats.
My name's Debbie. This is Annalise. This is Ahmed. And we have a lot of bread traditions, or a few bread traditions that we could choose from. Today, we chose, because I'm a busy person, the tradition my mom always passed down from her mother, which was, why would I bake when there's a perfectly good bakery down the street? Thank you.
We made these muffins and they're chocolate chip and nut.
Thank you.
Hi, I just like to bake, so this is a new pumpkin bread recipe, so hope you enjoy it.
Hi, my name is Barbara Jones, but I'm actually bringing up Sue Meyer's bread. She's on call and she just got paged, so I have no idea what this bread is.
I'm Richard Parsons. Growing up, my mom was a real great cook. One of the things you remember best is her cinnamon rolls. We don't have the recipe. I'm not a cook. My wife isn't particularly either. So this commercial product has to represent that. But cinnamon rolls have a big memory going back.
Hi, I'm Robin Kalina, my daughter Kate, and my husband Adam, and we brought our usual challah to honor my Jewish tradition. And we always had challah around our house, and now when we go visit my parents in Florida, my mom always makes sure to have some challah waiting for us.
I would invite you to join with me in blessing this bread. This is the original blessing that was written by Reverend John Robinson. We bless these loaves. We bless this bread we have in common with one another and with people all over the earth. We bless the events, people, and places that circumstances of our lives that feed us, sustain us, and nourish us. We dedicate this bread to the original nations of this area, the Osage, the Miami, the Sioux, the Haudenosaunee, and others too ancient to know by name. May the sadnesses of the past and present give way to joy, respect, and harmony. I invite you to rise as you do for our hymn. It's written in the back of your order of service. Another tradition at Eliot is sung to the tune of Amazing Grace, written by member Jim Connolly.
Amen.
And now our benediction, which is taken from the original text of the first bread service. Blessings for a good Thanksgiving go with you. Eat heartily, drink wisely. Remember all those gifts that come to you out of the well springs of existence. Know yourself blessed, at least for one day, by the Most High and the Most Deep, the known and the unknown source of life. May we take our seat and receive one more gift of music in our postlude.
Better times will come, yeah, better times will come, when this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come, when we greet each day without fear, knowing loved ones soon will be near, when the winds of war cannot blow anymore. Oh, better times will come, better times, oh, better times will come, yeah, better times will come, when this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come. Though we live each day as our last, we know someday soon it will pass. We will dance, we will sing in that never-ending spring. Oh, better times will come. Better times will come. Yeah, better times will come, when this world learns to live as one. Oh, better times will come. There's a dark and a troubled side of life. There's a bright and sunny side too. Though we meet with the darkness and the strife, the sunny side we also may view. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side, life. It'll help us every day. It will brighten all the way if you keep on the sunny side, life. Though the storm and its fury broke today, crashing hopes we cherish so dear, clouds and storms will in time pass away. The sun again will shine bright and clear. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side, life. It'll help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side, life. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side, life. It'll help us every day. It will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side, life. If you keep on the sunny side, life.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. It's time to eat.